Every year we find that Parsha Bamidbar falls out before Shavuos. It almost seems like the lessons in Parsha Bamidbar are somehow a introduction in preparation of Shavuos, of receiving the Torah. And the question is, what is that message, or what are the messages in Parsha Bamidbar that are prerequisites or introductions to studying Torah? One idea mentioned in the Medrash is the first verse in the Parsha. It says, "And God spoke to Moshe, Vaydaber Hashem al Moshe b'midbar Sinai lemor," in the desert, in the Sinai desert, saying as follows. And it goes on to say it. And the question is, why does it mention where it was? Why was it important that it was in the desert? Could it have been elsewhere? Does it matter? Or the whole Torah was given in the desert? Why is this an important mention over here? And the Medrash says to teach us a lesson that anyone who makes himself like a midbar, like a desert, he is able to receive the Torah. He is worthy to receive the Torah. Whoever doesn't make himself like a desert, like a midbar, is not able to receive the Torah. What does this mean, to make himself like a desert? What does that mean? Right? Rather cryptic, right? So one of the ideas mentioned is that when the Jewish people lived in the desert, there wasn't much of a competition of status. There wasn't a life of luxury. People weren't running after, the nicer tent, with the better looking camel, I'm guessing. People more or less lived in simplicity. We're in a desert, we're living with simplicity, ultimate simplicity. And simplicity is really necessary for receiving the Torah, and an ability to live with simplicity, with whatever you have, and not needing to establish any status symbol or any, or have more than others and things like that. It's really a big deterrence in acquiring Torah. There's a Mishnah in Avos, and the Mishnah says as follows: a person who wants to learn Torah, to study Torah, to gain mastery in Torah, here's a prescribed method. Pas b'melach tochal, a person needs to eat bread and salt. Mind mesura tishta, yes, to drink, a small amount of water. Valaras tishan, and you should sleep on the ground. This is the prescription. B'imata osekain, and if you do this, ashrecha b'olam hazeh, how fortunate you are in this world. V'tov lech l'olam haba, how good it's going to be for you in the world to come. This is an absolutely puzzling Mishnah. First of all, who does that? You eat bread and water. You drink a little bit of water. You sleep on the ground. I mean, what kind of life is that? Number one. And what's most puzzling, I understand he'll get the world to come. It's going to be good. He'll study Torah all day, and he'll have the world to come. I get that. But ashrecha b'olam hazeh, how fortunate you are in this world. Are you really going to have a good life in this world? Truly puzzling Mishnah. What the Mishnah seems to be telling us is that it's not saying this is the thing you have to do, because I don't know too many people who do this, but it's telling you that even until this point, meaning live a life of simplicity, live with what you have, live within your means, live with simplicity the way it is, and don't chase after extras, because when you chase after extras, that is the number one thing that's going to pull you away from a life of Torah study. When a person can live with what he has, make do, be happy and satisfied with it, he can live such a good life, both in this world and in the next world. And even in this world, he can live such a great life. There's a famous story where Rav Shach, the great Gadol Hador, he was the greatest rabbi of his generation, and he was meeting with Rav Moshe Reichman. Now, Moshe Reichman was a businessman, a very wealthy philanthropist who supported many, many institutions, and he was visiting once Rav Shach in Bnei Brak in Israel, and they were having a little conversation. Rav Shach says to him, Mr. Reichman, I really commend you for all the charity you give and all the tzedakah. You're going to have such an amazing place in Olam Haba. In fact, I believe that because of all your institutions that you support, you're going to be way, way, way ahead of me in Olam Haba. I mean, I have one little yeshiva that that I, so to speak, run. But you support all these different institutions in Olam Haba. I'm not going to get anywhere near you. You're going to be way beyond, right? He said, but what's with Olam Hazeh? What's with this world? You don't have this world at all. You're this business person, you're running, you have phone calls, you have meetings, you're traveling here and there, you have no time. You don't have Olam Hazeh, you don't know how to live. And it was just such a funny conversation, because Moshe Reichman is the wealthy, millionaire, who you would think has this world. And Rav Shach, he had a small apartment in Bnei Brak, and he didn't own much except for, maybe a set of Talmud and a big wooden stender, a wooden lectern he used to learn on. That's about all he owned. He didn't own much at all. He had an incredibly simple life. But he was certain that he had a better Olam Hazeh, better this world, than the wealthy philanthropist. And the message is that happiness in life, and as we know, is not measured by assets or by status or by anything else. It's measured by your ability to live within your means and live with simplicity. And that's what the Mishnah is telling us. You live with that, you're going to have such a good life in this world, and you're going to have such an amazing experience, and you're also going to have the next world. You're going to have it all. Live with the simplicity, live within your means, live like in the desert. And that's the greatest prerequisite for acquiring the Torah. I wish everyone a great Shabbos.